Hey, it's the Free Taco, and recently, some people have been asking for the tunes on some of my cars, um, so I figured I'd just go through all of them. I might give some notes on some of them, and I'll probably leave timestamps in the video, so if you want a specific one, you can just go straight to it. But yeah, I'll just do them in order. That's in the spawn car thing. So I'll start with the BMW. So let's get to it. So this one, nothing really special in terms of suspension. Here it is, right here. And as for the engine, I just kept the stock engine, literally all race parts. I don't really use the BMW, so nothing really special about it. So yeah, let's go on to the next one. Okay, for the Corvettes, nothing really special for this one as well. Just stock engine, race parts, twin turbo. That's pretty much it for that. And as for suspension, nothing special there. I don't really use this one either, so I don't really have a specific setup that I use. I just made it look nice, pretty much. But yeah, on to the next one. Alrighty, now for my FCRX7. This one's a little bit different. So for the engine, it is the RB26 engine swap, and then just all race parts. This is a car that I use a lot for lines. It's really smooth, so I really like it. And as for suspension, here it is. This one, I've done a decent amount of tuning for how I like it. I think it's a pretty good setup. So yeah, here it is. And on to the next one. Alright, now for my Miata. So it's a stock engine, race parts, and a single turbo. Twin turbo is a bit too much power for how light this car is, so this just makes it drive a little bit nicer. Alright, and as for the suspension setup, here it is. I mainly just made the fitment look nice. I did a little bit of tuning, but I just went up just a little bit for fun. So yeah, here it is. Now on to the next one. Alrighty, for my FD-RX7, so I RB26 swapped it, but I'm not really sure if I'll keep it or not. I don't really use this too much anymore. This was my original car that I started playing the game with. And as for suspension, here it is. And the performance, just all race parts. Nothing too special. Alrighty, so nothing special about that one, so let's just get into the next one. Alrighty, for my 180SX, this one is RB26 swapped. You'll see that's a trend among some of my cars. I like the RB26, it's a good engine. So RB26 swapped, performance, just all race parts pretty much. Didn't do that. I meant to do that. There we go. So all race parts, and then weight reduction race and race brakes. And for the suspension, here it is. This one I actually do. I use this one a lot, especially for lines. Between like for lines, I'd say I use this one and the FCRX7 probably the most. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this. So on to the next one. Alrighty, so for my S15, it is VR38 swapped and then just maxed out pretty much, except for that one. Going through this, I'm seeing some of my mistakes that I forgot, or like some stuff that I didn't add in terms of parts. But yeah, so max 956 horsepower. Yeah. And in terms of suspension setup, here it is. I don't really use this car too much, so I'm sure there's a better one if you look up like a video for this. But this is just the one that I use. Pretty basic, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, on to the next one. Already for my R34 GTR, still has the RB26, just maxed out. As you can see, 620 horsepower. And then as for the suspension, here it is. I don't really use this one too much anymore. I learned how to reverse drift on this one, so I feel like it's a good platform to do it. So if you want to learn to reverse drift, maybe you could start with this one if you're comfortable. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this. On to the next one. Already for my R35, I just have the stock engine maxed, race parts, nothing too special, twin turbo. And for suspension, here it is. Nothing too special. I did use this one a lot for reverse drifting before I started using the Chaser. It's a little bit more difficult than the Chaser, but it has its advantages and disadvantages. So yeah, on to the next one. Alrighty, for this one, I just have the RB26, race parts, 620 horsepower. For suspension, Here it is. Nothing too special. And yeah, I just mainly use this one just to like fool around if I want something a little bit different. But yeah, on to the next one. Alrighty, for my 350Z, I just have the stock engine just maxed out. Makes a lot of horsepower. And as you can see, I don't really use this that much because I don't even have all the upgrades on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this. I mean, it's a decent car, but I just don't use it too much. Oh, for the suspension, I almost forgot. Here it is, nothing too special. A lot of rear camber, a little front camber. But yeah, next one. Alrighty, so for the car that I use the most, it's the Chaser. A little note for this one. So normally I max out the engine, and then the suspension is a little bit different. But for PDL or like the Prodigy Drift League that's coming up, I had to change it to meet the standards for that. So I'll just discuss some of that as it comes along. So you can see that some of these parts, I think just the ignition for this is stock. The rest is race parts, just to bring it down to 849 because the max horsepower for PDL is 850. And as for suspension, this one is a little bit different. So the offset will be different and the front and rear camber will be different. Normally I run a lot of rear camber, like I think between like -7 and -7.5 on the rear, and then the front it's about the same, -4 is what I use, and the offset will just be based on making it look nice, and maybe the right height will be different. But that's pretty much it for this. It still does reverse drifting fine. It just feels a little bit different with a little less power and a little different suspension. But yeah, this is the car that I use the most and my favorite car. So on to the next one. Alrighty, for my Supra, I have the VR38 engine swap, and then I just maxed it out. Everything's maxed out. 956 horsepower. And then as for the suspension, here it is. Nothing really too special. I like running more camber in the rear than the front. Normally, I like a little slidey. But yeah, this one's I like this one. This one's just a little fun to just run around with sometimes if I'm just tired of the Chaser or something. But yeah. Alrighty, so now for the final car, the AE86. This one's nothing too special. I just maxed out the stock engine, and to be honest, it's probably a bit too much horsepower than this car needs. You could probably just run like a single turbo and it'd be fine. But yeah, I just have it for this because I don't really use it too much. And as for the suspension, here it is. Nothing too special. I don't run a lot of camber. I want to keep a little bit more grip. So yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope these car setups work for you, and I'll see you in the next one.